Hi, everybody. Guess what? It's at Skating PJ, and I am looking forward to an outstanding conversation with Javier Fernandez. He is currently having a couple of technical issues, so as soon as he arrives, we are going to go straight to him. At the moment, rather, I want to ask you guys to make sure that you send in your comments, your questions, anything that you want to talk to Javi about. I am really looking forward to finding out kind of what's going on in his life. We're of course talking about a legend, not only a legend in figure skating in general, but certainly a Spanish legend. I mean, my goodness, he was the first man to qualify for the Olympic Games in figure skating when he did so in 2010. And that was beating a streak that had gone on unchecked since 1956. So I'm getting word now that he is just finding a way to get online on this broadcast. And then we're going to be talking to Javier Fernandez. I am so excited. Two-time world champion. We're talking about somebody who's won the Grand Prix final. We're talking about somebody who's won a national title. And here is the man of the hour, Javier Fernandez. It's so nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you. I've just been telling everybody that you were on your way and that we were having a bit of a technical issue, but here you are. So, bienvenido. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I want to talk to you about a couple of quick things. I have some pictures that I want to show people that I was able to get from the internet, my favorite source. I want you to know that the first time you really sort of locked into my brain, my skating brain, was when we were both at the 2010 Olympic Games. You were working harder than me, though. And I remember seeing this particular picture, and I want you to take me back. We were just talking before you arrived about being the first man in Spanish figure skating to make it to the Olympic Games since 1956. My goodness. So tell me a little bit about this guy. This program was so much fun. And I remember thinking after you finished skating, I thought to myself, I want to see more of that. I want to see more of this guy. So tell me about that Pirates of the Caribbean program and what it meant to you to be at the Olympic Games.
Well, it was a great program. It was one of my favorite programs from all times. This program was choreographed by Nikolai Morozov.
Yep.
And we he came up with this idea. He thought it was a great idea for me to skate to something fun, and it was actually a great work in a lot of times working with him where it was a lot of fun. It was one of my first free programs or first programs where I kind of came up to another level.
Yes, you did.
I kind of stand up to the people and say, hey, here I am. And that was also because of the choreography, because of the music, because of the time. It was at Olympics. So I think it was a great choice for me and for my career. And I have great memories from this program. I actually used this character after this program, after these Olympics. I use it for a show program to kind of bring a little bit the fun to the people in a different way. Just in a show program, a different choreography, but at the same time with the same character of Jack Sparrow, the Captain Jack Sparrow.
You had an ability and you have an ability to connect with the audience. You have such a charming personality that is like from your heart. It's not something that is put on. It is something, having met you a gazillion times by this point, and we did a podcast together, and so I certainly have had my fair share of Javi time backstage. But your personality is such that you love to connect to the audience. I mean, even looking at that Super Javi program that you did with Kurt Browning and Jeffrey Tyler, there was that workout program. It's still one of my favorites. It doesn't matter how often I watch it, I still laugh. So you seem to have a wonderful sense of humor. Tell me what little Javi was like. Did you like connecting with people when you were a little guy?
When I was a little guy, well, let's talk first about outside of skating first.
Yeah.
I was kind of I was a fun person, but I was a little shy sometimes with people. I was not the kind of person that will get involved in every group of people with everyone. I will have a lot of friends, but I would not be like the main guy of the group. Let's say, right? I was
Okay.
not that kind of person. But then later, when if we talk about figure skating, it was kind of the same thing. I was always, trying to do my choreography, trying to do my my program, but never trying to have in mind to be such a character or such a picture of a person. But
Okay.
then, in when I kind of grew up, when I learned more about skating and learned more about the choreographies, the expression, that's when I became the other person, like the other hobby, the person that will like to connect with the people, the person will like to see the reaction of the audience. And that's, I think, the point where I see also the change. That was, I think, before the Pirates of the Caribbean, I did a program that was it was a Russian cartoon named Nupagadi, and that was one of my first fun programs. It was actually, like, if I see it, it's actually almost ridiculous. It's hard to see it sometimes, but
Yeah.
it was actually fun. It was actually, I think the first try of me to be a character.
Hmm.
And then we saw Pirates of the Caribbean, and then we saw the Super Hobby. We saw different kind of programs where it was, more trying to connect with the people. And then that became I think, one of my strongest things.
It's so interesting. Somebody once said to me, introverts are people who can perform and who can be out there in the world, but they get their energy from retreating and being alone. Extroverts are people who get their energy from performing and being out there in the world, and that's where they get their energy. Would you consider yourself to be more of an introvert or an extrovert?
I don't know, actually. I will say extrovert, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I think. At least in my opinion. At the same time that I can be a little shy.
Yeah.
In that same time, I like to express myself really well. I like to
Yes.
talk about me a lot. I I don't mind sharing my things, not only to my best friends, also to, like, some other, like, to everyone almost. I
Yes.
think, and in that way also, I like the people when laugh about me. I'm not shy in that way, or I like to laugh about me, my own self, or you know so it's actually hard to explain and hard to say if you're one way or the other one, just because I'm a little bit of both. I'm a little bit of both, a little bit of one and a little bit of the other one.
It's interesting. My parents put me in figure skating because I was so shy.
Hmm.
If people wanted to talk to me when I was a small child, I would like hide behind furniture. So even now, even though I can talk to many people and I can talk happily to people, at the
Hmm.
end of the day, I want to go back to my room or
Hmm.
hotel room or wherever I am. And that's where I can rest and get refreshed. So
Yeah.
people think I'm an extrovert, but actually my soul is an introvert. So it's
Hmm.
interesting to ask the question for
Yeah.
performers because some are one way and some are another.
Yeah.
There is a great, we're getting some wonderful comments from people. Did you see the banner that you are the heart and soul of figure skating and we miss you? It's totally true. We miss you. I have to tell you that you are one of the skaters that universally around the world is adored. I have actually some comments that were emailed to me from, of course, the phone is not cooperating right now, but I have some comments from a fan in Where are we talking about? We're talking about Japan. Japan
Mhm.
has some of the best figure skating fans ever in the world. And this fan, of course, wants to make sure that you are healthy and safe and that those that you hold dear are
Mhm.
doing well under this struggle of a pandemic. And this is a quote: "It must be really hard for him, you, not knowing what will happen to all of the projects you worked on so hard, like your ice shows that were so successful this year. But I am sure that being Javi, he will show us his positive outlook when he comes on the air to speak to us, which of course you're doing right now." They wanted to know if I could ask how you are spending your days and what you think some of your future plans might hold once everything is settled down. Great question from Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and right now I'm at home. We're still in the level of not being able to go many places.
Yeah.
Just the things we need in our life, which is go groceries. We can go in the morning to do a little 1 hour. We can go 1 hour out, and then one night at nighttime we can go another hour out to walk.
Okay.
We are right now at that point where we are getting able to start getting outside, um, not connecting to the people, but being around people. We still have to be safe, and we still have to be aware of what's going on. But more than that, we still have to wait. I'm at home. I'm trying to do everything at home, everything I can, trying to be busy. I'm still loving my video games. I love my cooking, and I love, being here. You know, it's been almost 2 months of being at
Over.
home. Yes, over.
Yep.
Um, so in the beginning, it was a little tougher. I guess the days were slower than they are right now. Where at least I got a little bit used to being at home and make the days run faster. But we're almost there. We're almost there. I think in the next 2 3 weeks we're gonna be able to go out more. We're gonna be able to connect with friends. Apparently, we have to see what we still have to see. And the plans that I planned for this year, they're of course all canceled, or most of them. We still have to see what is gonna happen. The plans of November, December, January, all those plans were still on the air. So one of my shows, the shows that I produce in Spain, they're still in the air. We are hoping that we can do maybe 1 or 2 shows. We're not gonna run the whole tour, but maybe we can do a little something. But again, this is just something is in the air, something we have to talk about. We have sponsors involved that we have to see if they will be willing to work with us this year, and to see, of course, because it's been a lot of struggle in this country.
It's very interesting. I am old enough and have been in figure skating long enough to remember that if somebody ever said, "Oh, there's a champion coming from Spain who's going to take the world on by storm,"
Yeah,
that
no.
people would have said, "Spain?" Of course, they said the same thing about South Korea. South Korea. Anyway, look where we are today.
Mhm.
So I want you to talk a little bit about when I went to both Grand Prix finals in Barcelona, the spirit of the people and the thrill that Spaniards felt at your presence in figure skating. Can you talk to me a little bit about carrying the Spanish flag?
Um, so, this is a good question. When we were in Barcelona, when we did the two Grand Prix final in a row, it was a big help for the figure skating in the country. That's for sure. But then we don't have more competitions after those two international competitions. So that's something we have to work on in the future. Um, okay, you can hear me, right?
Of course, yes. I'm just so
Sorry,
people can see
sorry,
just you.
sorry. Um, I think it was, a big success both of the competitions, and it kind of show up to the people around the world that even in a country that there is not a popularity of the sport, it can be actually a good choice and a good, a good place to do a competition. Just because the people in Spain or in other countries, they might be willing to see something different. Here in Spain, it is, a lot of people see figure skating in the TV, and it's a sport that everyone likes because it's something totally different. We're used to see tennis, we're used to see soccer, but figure skating is a different sport from all of them. Is to see a person that is skating into a nice surface, wearing skates, doing a choreography, mm, using a song. I don't know. It's just this sport have something totally different from the others, and luckily the Spanish people can see that. And a lot of people after my career and after these many years, they got into figure skating. Now the problem, we have other different problems. We have no more competitions. Now we have to push the young figure skaters, the junior figure skaters, even lower level skaters. We only have how many ice rink? Maybe around 12 ice rinks in the whole country. It's hard to bring new stars, or it's hard to bring new talents when you only have 12, 13 ice rinks in the whole country. So we're struggling now. Hopefully, with the time, we will get better. We have a lot of talents right now in figure skating. We have ice dancers, we have pair skaters. We have some people that they're getting some level, but we still have to bring them a little help. So, but that's our problem. That's our thing.
Do you remember the very first time you got on the ice or the first time that you competed, and how did you feel?
So the first time I competed, I do remember that moment. It was when I was 7. See, I think I was 7, and it was a how do you say that? What's the name? Regional? No, regional. It was like a region competition. It
Regional,
was like, yeah,
regionals.
regional
Yep.
competition. But it was really tiny competition. I think I was competing by my own. I was doing Superman, actually. That was my first program. And I was wearing my cape. I was wearing my hair. I was wearing my curl as Superman, like the old time Superman. It was actually funny. It was a good. It's funny to watch. Um, but I don't remember much more. I remember being on that costume, doing my program a little bit, like little parts of it. But that's it. I was just 7.
You
And
know,
I definitely don't remember when I first skated. I remember wanting to skate, but I don't
oh,
remember the first time.
I wonder why you would want to skate in a country that has so few ice rinks, where you even saw it or got the idea.
My sister did. My sister started skating before me. I think months before me. And then I was going with my soccer ball with my parents to pick my sister up from her lessons, and I liked it. And I told my parents if I could skate with my sister, and I started. And
You,
I think I was there in that ring for about 6, 7 months. I don't think it was more. Then they closed that ring. We had to go to another one. And we were there for less than a year in learning to skate, let's say. And then they told us we could jump to the club and we could join the club. And we did. So,
you know, a lot of young men your age, any of the coaches out there will know this to be true. The
mhm.
little 7-year-old boys. I'm glad you said Superman, because my other choice would have been Raiders of the Lost Ark or Star Wars. That was the music that was extremely popular for little boys your age.
Yes, yes, yes.
So tell me, there's actually a great question that's just come in from YouTube. Um, are you considering coaching?
I am actually. I am. I've been teaching some summer camps and some seminars, and I've been helping some skaters sometimes. Mm, but yes, in the future, hopefully not really long. I was actually planning to be, you know, coach in the next 4 or 5 years to try to keep my shows up the longest as possible. But I don't know if it will be sooner, actually, just because there is things coming up in the country, and I don't know if I will, jump into the swimming pool and be
Yeah.
like, I'll be part-time coach trying to organize, and in the future, I'm not the kind of coach that will like to have a lot of skaters and then leave to do shows. I'm not that kind of coach. I would like to stay there for full time.
Okay.
Um, but that's something, something, there is things that came up, and there is things that I think they might have to be in the right time, and they might have to be soon.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm explaining myself really well.
No, you're doing
Hopefully
great.
everyone understands me, understands my English. But yeah, I hope maybe something come up soon, and I'll be coaching shortly.
That's great.
Mm. But that's the future. The future is I do want to be a coach.
Here's something from the present that'll make you happy. Hello from Spain.
Hello.
Now, this is a great question coming in from Nicole Maurer-Rest. She calls him Brain. Some of us call him Brian. They were your coaches. Can you tell us some of the most important things that you learned from them on or off the ice? We're talking, of course, about Brian Orser and Tracy Wilson.
Well, they're the greatest persons um, I've probably ever met in my life. This oh my god, it's so hard to explain. Is they're not just like coaches, because they're amazing coaches, but also like persons, like people. They're two of the nicest people in the world, and they show that to their skaters day by day. But one of the things that I've learned more about both of them um, is to be able to settle down and learn day by day, be patient, and learn. You have to learn, and you have to see the results, that they come up slowly sometimes, fast sometimes, but you have to settle down and wait. um, they've teach me to train. They've teach me to compete in a better shape, to compete in a better mindset, um, to organize my life, to organize my day by day. Um, and they've teach me to love something that I did, that it was hard, but they've teach me to be happy doing it. So I don't
That's
know.
a
I
great
think they
answer.
teach me everything.
Lots of great qualities come out of being an athlete. And when you have wonderful coaches, that can make all the difference between an experience that an athlete can look back on and say, you know what, I feel success about that. Not about the medals, not about the placements, but rather about the development as a human being. So it's very interesting to me. And for the people who are not in the figure skating world who are watching this broadcast, I'm a little bit interested to have you weigh in on. So here's a shot of you, and you're there as Yuzuru Hanyu, Olympic two-time Olympic champion. You're there on the podium along with Shoma Uno. You trained with Yuzuru Hanyu. For people who are not in skating, how do you explain training with one of your biggest competitors? Because you certainly share moments of friendship and camaraderie
Yeah.
off the ice. So can you explain that kind of a relationship for those people who don't know skating?
Yes, of course. The point of skating to someone that has a really good level and someone that is competing against you. It also depends with the personality of both of them. But if you can manage to train with your rival, I think it gives a really good energy every day in the training. Every day, in the time that you have to train, is just the atmosphere that you have around you. When you see around, you see great skaters. You see, the person you're gonna compete tomorrow is doing a great performance, or is doing a great program, or is doing great jumps, and you're there watching and be like, oh my god, I need to get my everything together. And I have to, I have to train. I have to train hard. I have to do my programs, my run throughs, my jumps. I have to try to beat this person. Um, we've known each other for quite a long time, Yusuru and I. We're not the closest friends, but we're friends and we're teammates because we were sharing the same ice time, the same coaches, the same friends at the rink. So it was great. It was great atmosphere. It was a great energy, and I think that's why we became the skaters we are right now. Just of course, because of the coaches, of course, because of training, of course, but also because of having someone that you have to look at and be like, "Hey, I have to push myself more to try to beat these people in a
So,
good way."
yeah, of course, in a good way. But you're at the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. The results have come out. You're waiting to be announced to go on the podium. Do the three of you podium people, do you talk to each other? Did you say anything to each other? Were there any moments in the dressing room after the fact that you can share with us?
Okay, so Yusuru and Shoma, they're not the most talkative person in the world, um, but we do talk sometimes. We do talk. I do talk to Shoma. I do talk to Yuzu, and but sometimes Shoma doesn't speak so much English. Yuzu is learning more and more every year. Um, so sometimes I don't even know what to say. But I know there is a good connection and there is a good atmosphere around the three of us. Um, but we do talk sometimes in the podium. Sometimes you should make a joke. Sometimes I do make a joke. Sometimes we go to take a picture. We hug and then all of a sudden there is like tickling happening, and you start laughing. There is like little things. There's like little things that they're fun. They're sometimes when you don't know what to say, it's good to share that moment not only by yourself, also with the people that you have by your side, and I think it makes it better for all of us to try to. It's hard to make them laugh, but I try sometimes, and they do try sometimes as well.
Where's your medal?
My
Where's your
medal
Olympic
is
medal?
actually right here. You want me to show it to you?
Yes, I certainly
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Shall I sing any songs while we're waiting? And I've got another great question for Javi when he comes back.
See,
He's
this is
coming
how I
back.
have it. I have it like this.
Oh my goodness.
Like that.
Wow,
Hold
that's beautiful.
on.
That is beautiful. Do you sometimes look at it and think, I'm an
Mm,
Olympic medalist? Like, how did this happen?
no, I don't. I usually just see it when somebody comes at home, and then I'm
Yep,
like, "Do you want to see the medal?" That's the medal.
that is
Over there.
congratulations again. That is so well earned. There is a terrific question from Argentina,
Yes.
but I want you to take a look. What a great last name. Valeria wants to know if you miss competing and is saying hello from Argentina.
Hello from Spain. I don't miss so much competing. I
Okay.
do miss something involved with competing. I miss something about figure skating, but I don't miss the competition itself. I miss the atmosphere of training. I miss the coaches, my friends, to be able to go to a competition and see all the skaters. The practices at the competition, they were so much fun for me. They were, a little pressure, but not really nervous. But then the competition itself is another level. It's a level of stress. It's a level of being nervous. A level of your brain starting. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. So I don't miss competing. No.
Some skaters have told me that the sound of that gate closing behind them,
Mhm.
their name is announced, they're skating to center ice, and all they can think about is, why did I say I would do this? They're okay once the music starts, but
Yeah.
that used to be the longest period of
Mhm.
time. How do
Yeah.
you feel when you're skating to position? How
That's
did you
actually
feel?
one of the things I think. Not the close, not the door closing, but thinking, what am I doing? I think like I'm not at home, just chilling and being relaxed. But it was our moment. It was our moment of showing everything we were working on in practices. Um, for me, one of the hardest moments it they were the time of the competition when we were doing the 6 minutes. Well, we were warming up, do the 6 minutes warm up, and then after the 6 minutes warm up, we'll come off the ice and we'll still have to kind of warm up for another what 40 minutes if you were last in a free program, 35 minutes, and
Yeah.
then doing your program. And I was feeling exhausted. I'm exhausted and I haven't competed yet. that
Wow.
that was like my not for being in that pressure for like almost what 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. I was feeling exhausted, and that feeling when you were competing, it was like I'm not gonna be able to do it. And sometimes it was even the best program ever. But the feeling of I have to do my program and I'm exhausted. So that was a hard point of my competitions, and also when hearing my heartbeat right before doing my program, right before starting the music, I will hear my heartbeat. Everything in silence. So
It is silent. People
yeah.
have no idea just how quiet it is. That your name gets announced, you skate to your position. The music
Mhm.
guy counts one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three
Mhm.
Mississippi
Yeah.
before they press play, and that has to be the longest 3 seconds of your life. I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I don't know if you know this, but you are right now getting people from Greece, Russia,
Mhm.
Canada, Chicago, the United States, Japan, that are all watching this broadcast. And this is sort of, I think, a way that a lot of fans feel about this. And that is that you kind of belong to the world. So this is a very strong skating fan from Portugal, Telmo Ferreira. He felt that you were skating almost for his country because Portugal doesn't have any figure skaters. As a
Oh, that's
Canadian,
nice.
because you trained in Toronto in Canada,
Mhm.
you felt sort of like part Canadian to me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, are you aware of the impact that you have throughout the world?
I've been always, it's a question that a lot of people ask me in my whole career. Will you considering competing for another country? And I always said no. I
Yeah,
always said like I feel proud of competing from my country, but when I go to a competition, I compete for me, and I
sure.
compete, and I want the people that is watching to enjoy what I'm skating.
Hmm.
Um, in the same time, I try to be grateful with everyone, and I try to have a connection with the people around me or the country that I'm in. And I think that's something special. The feeling that I feel when the people say that I was, as you said, I was skating in Canada. I was training there for almost what 8 years, 8 years, I want to believe. And I was feeling part Canadian, just also because how the Canadian people was treating me. They make me feel part of their own country. And when I was going to compete in Canada, I will almost feel myself like I was almost like a little bit Canadian as well. The fans were supporting me so much. I was in the place I was living at that moment. And then, I don't know, I was feeling part of it. Also, when I go to Japan and they treat me so well, and the people that they're there, I know they're local people, I kind of feel like a little bit Japanese as well.
Hmm. Yep.
Just because of the love that they bring into the atmosphere when we're doing what we love. And it's grateful to see that this boy is saying, about Portugal. We're neighbors.
Yes, you
We're
are.
neighbors, and it is what it is. I would love to see Portuguese people coming up in the world of figure skating. I would love to see Portugal as the next door person. Um, to have more ice rinks, but we're almost in the same pack. We're almost in the same pack.
The same herd.
Exactly.
Um, I have a couple more quick questions. One is a fan asked if you are growing anything at home, flowers or vegetables, or are you growing anything? I thought it
I
was
do
kind of an
have
unusual question.
I do have cactus outside, just because I think it's the only thing that I will not kill. Um,
And then
um, and yeah, that's it. That's what I have.
I'm bad at growing too. I can even kill plastic flowers. It's terrible. Um, I want to know also, you say you're cooking. Are you a good cook?
I'm not bad. I'm not as good as imagine my mom that been cooking for a long time, or my grandma, or like. But there is things that I can do really well. Let's
Tell
say
me one of them. Maybe
one
we'll
of
cook on
them.
the next Facebook Live together. Wouldn't that be something? Actually, I'll watch. You
Exactly.
cook.
Exactly. Um, um, some of the things that I cook a lot, is some of the Spanish traditional food. But in the same time, I love barbecue. I love doing barbecues. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. And I can do anything in the barbecue.
Good for you.
Then what is in the kitchen, I like to do some, like some lentil soups, or some I don't know. It's hard to say the name in English when I don't know if they have translations.
Okay,
But some
fair
of the
enough.
Spanish things that they're traditional here,
Like
something with
paella?
lentils, sometimes with like the omelette, or something with
Yep.
the paella, or like things like that. I know how to cook really well.
I like, let me get it right. Patatas bravas,
Patatas bravas,
one of my
yes,
favorites.
yes.
I'm a carb girl. I'm just going to say that. Okay, last thing that I would like you to answer. If there are young skaters here
Mhm.
watching who are off the ice and looking for a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of encouragement, what can you say to them?
Okay, so if we're talking about right now, where a lot of kids can go even to skate at the moment, I will say to be patient, to try to do everything you can at home, but be prepared because it's gonna be tough. By the time you get on the ice, it's not gonna be easy. So they have to be patient. Some of the jumps might be gone. It's normal. It's figure skating, but is the sport we choose and the sport we love. The sport we love. And in the future, um, listen to your coaches. There are gonna be hard times. There are gonna be good times, and make sure the good times are forever, and the bad times we learn from them. There is
I
not
got
much more I can say.
I have to tell you that as far as the good times in figure skating lasting forever, for me,
Mhm.
watching your performances on YouTube are some of the highlights of my time. I just could watch you skate all day long. So,
Mhm.
Javier Fernandez, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to all of us. I really appreciate this. And stay well, stay safe, and go
Thank you.
wash your hands.
Thank you so much. The same.
Talk
Be
to you
safe.
soon. Bye
Talk to
bye.
you soon. Bye.